First things first, we have a monument here. It just, for those of you who don't know, these things don't magically appear. There's a lot of work that went into this. There's people that need to be thanked. For one, Lee and Marion's here for their donating of the property, for their put this on, that own the store here.
Here, here.
Marcy and Terry for letting us use their bar and restaurant. Steve Bennett, I'm not sure if he's here, he did some of the backhoe work for the hole, and Dan Garrett set the black forest or the monument. Glenn Brown and Jim Burgess for their work on the plaque and the concrete work. And the Hyampom community for letting us come in here and do this. We really appreciate it. And most of all, we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Virgil and Peggy Mortensen, who Mort grew up here. He lived here. He knows all the history or most of it. He's the big reason we're here.
Really? Talk about
all right. Yeah.
And happy birthday to Terry and Karen. So with that out of the way, I'll introduce you to our historian, Herb Schreiner, who will do the presentation. Thank you.
And I want to thank Bubba for taking over my speech for me.
Just a couple things. First, did most of you notice in the Weirville Parade the fact that the Stutz was on a low bed? Yeah. The first time we've ever had to haul it. The mechanic is having great success. It should be functional to take Santa down at Thanksgiving. So,
all right.
On the historical side, a lot of people don't know how precious that Stutz fire truck is. There was only two made in that year, 1922. Two in the whole nation. One of them we think is probably sitting in some fire department back east. The other one's in our fire hall. Stutz was only in business for a short period making fire apparatus. They only had about 300 total pieces between 1919 and 1926. And of fire trucks, there were 7 Model D pumpers, like ours, 2 Model DS pumpers, like ours, in the 1,000-gallon category, 6 in the 1,000-gallon Model O, and 9 in the 1,200-gallon Model O. And it appears that when they jumped to the 1,200 gallons, they started putting different engines in them. Ours is extremely unique, very hard to work on, impossible to find parts. In the early 80s, when we first rebuilt it, we called up Wisconsin. It's a water-cooled Wisconsin. 1982. Asked them if they had any parts, if they could send us the right way, and the woman said, "We haven't built water-cooled engines in 50 years. She says, "Good luck, have fun." So that's the historical side of our old pumper. Before I get into unveiling the plaque, I'd like to have Mort come forward. Mort's grandfather moved into the valley.
Yes, you did.
Many years ago, before 1900. Virgil Mortensen.
Yeah, Virgil.
Well, I'm real proud to see the group that we've got here. It's a wonderful thing to have. We Clampers haven't really done anything over here but tear up the South Fork Mountain and a few other places. John Hess has been part of that.
Go, John.
He's been the leader.
Ring leader.
I've lived here in the earlier part of my life. My dad was a bridge foreman for the Forest Service, and that's how he came into this county here. They built the big swinging bridge, or the big, what the hell do you call it?
Mule
They
bridge.
rebuilt it.
No, it's
Suspension
yeah,
bridge.
the big suspension bridge. And he probably redecked the mule bridge down by Jim Gates's there. But anyway, we lived in and out of Hyampom here for quite a few years. I was born in Weirville and in Marvin Goodyear's house, so I got a few ties the same way. Grandfather came in here in about 1894. He mustered out of the Army in the Indian Wars in the Dakota Territory, and he went up into Humboldt County, and he was going to raise livestock for the military. And they told him about Hyampom Valley over here, so he came over on the Humboldt Trail, or one of them. There wasn't just one Humboldt Trail. There was quite a number of them that went back and forth between Trinity and Humboldt County. But anyway, he homesteaded down there at our camp at 160 there in about 1894. And then later he found out he couldn't raise anything on that property because it was all up and down. You know, you look at from Big Rock going down by the campground there. It's just there wasn't really a hell of a lot you could do.
Uh-oh, that was me.
Maybe I'm too windy.
Let me turn around here. Is that working now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working, her. Somebody's carburetor's probably running down here. Probably have to get a tow.
We got a bad connection.
But, yeah, the bad connection's right here. But this was a great place to grow up when you were a kid, right? We ran up and down the river here. We chased them salmon up and down, or we'd be out on a rock bar barefooted running to catch them by the time they got to the next riffle. And it was interesting. And then during the late 40s they started logging over here on South Fork Mountain, and they had two sawmills here. They had the BB mill over by the Teton Burner, and they had one on the gravel bar there that a guy named Gray built, and then a guy named Ed bought it. I guess he bought it later. I think it burned down once, but it was quite a deal when all the logging operations were going. They were hauling the logs into them other mills, and they come in here and built their mill just for the timber on my grandfather's timber claim up on South Fork Mountain. I don't know. It was probably, if you had that now, all that timber on that thing, you'd be a millionaire, like a few times. But anyway, it got there was a lot of stuff to do. Us kids, we didn't get in a lot of trouble. The only time we were real close to us when old Claude Gurley, the old game wardens, come over and check us on our chicken wire that we had in the river. And one time he came by the house down there, and he drove by real slow, and we saw the car going, and we got hid in the willow brush along the side. And he came on back up the store here in the bar, and he said, somebody's got a chicken wire in the river down there by the old Garrett place. And
but I couldn't find a road to get down there so I could arrest them. So you better tell them they better back off on a little bit. That's the kind of warden that old Claude was. He was a dandy. But, anyway, on through the years, things had changed. I went to school at this little white schoolhouse down here with Don here and her brothers and my foster kids and Joel Price and there's a bunch of others. I'll probably miss a few here, but anyway, it was a good place to grow up with kids, and I think it still is.
Yes.
I really do. We spend as much time as we can over here, but we've lived in Weirville most of our lives. I probably wouldn't have been in the Clampers if I'd have lived here. So that was one thing I was blessed with, and I'm real proud of our organization. And you know, we do a lot in the history of the county and Humboldt, or not in Humboldt, but Shasta, and we get some down in Red Bluff and back up in the east side there. And most of our stuff is we try to hold it in Trinity County here. Well, another place we've done quite a bit. I don't know. We must still have some friends there at the French Gulch because John Pelcher showed up with his buddies. I'm proud to see everybody here. Some of you guys that came quite a ways. Dave, how far did you come? I mean,
Fort Vallis.
yeah, across the United States, anyway. Proud to see this group of PBCs here, and it's going to be awful tough on them today. But we got a good river down there for them to go swimming in when it gets too warm with that hot pepper. I better shut up. It's getting pretty hot here. But just all you got to make it through the initiation, and don't break and run, whatever you do. That's the worst thing you can do. You'll enjoy it. Listen to it, and take in what you'll get a lot of fun out of the initiation, really. So I better close here. Anybody else got a thing or two to say here?
Just heard.
Introduce Peg.
Or
Introduce Peg.
Peggy. Yep.
my wife Peggy there. She's the one that's kept me alive. My two younger brothers passed on with the same kind of cancer that I've got. That I probably had a better nurse than they did. But if you don't like me being around here, it's her fault. Okay. Well, we love you people. Yeah, just keep up the good work. Bye-bye.
Mort's our 1972 Noble Grand Humbug. And thank you, Peggy, for keeping him around.
Yeah.
Now, I promise to be short and sweet. Which is a physical impossibility.
It's hard, Bert.
In fact, I think I'll go ahead and read the plaque and then we'll pull the cover. That's as short as I can get. Hyampom. When Captain Jedediah Strong Smith entered the valley April 22nd, 1828, there were 3 Indian tribes living in the valley: the Wintoon, the Wilcott, and the Chimerico. Their home was known to them as Hyampom, or tribe land. Life for them would never be the same, and the last ones were rounded up for their trail of tears to the reservation in 1864. The earliest settler was Hank Young on January 12, 1855, followed by Pierce and John Wesley Trimble. The Hyampom Monitor in February 1855 quickly listed local commodities available for sale, including Indians. In 1857, Zachariah McKay settled on the east end of the valley, and for those of you who came in from Hayfork, it's the very first ranch on the left as you drop into the valley. And the log house is still there, by the way. McKay settled on the east end of the valley. The McKay house is the oldest in the valley, built in early 1860s. A post office was established October 22nd, 1890. The old school was built in 1903 and used until 1953. Electricity came to the valley in 1949. Farming and ranching were the principal economy of the valley until 2 sawmills were built: the Van Alstine Mill, 1954 to 1957 near Butter Creek, and Beebe Lumber Company from the early 1950s to 1970 near Curlin Creek. Branches of the Humboldt Trinity Trail passed through the valley to Big Bar and Wildwood. Begun in 1916, the road into the valley was completed along Hayfork Creek from Hayfork Valley in 1924. Dedicated July 30th, 2011 by the Trinitarianist Chapter 62, Ancient and Honorable Order of E. Clampus Vitus. What say the brethren?
Marianne.
Okay, good.
Drum roll.
That's good.
No, I think Bubba knows. For virtual. Yeah, that's very nice. Very.
Terry, I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I didn't fold it like a flag.
Yeah.
Great. All right. That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get that one. Gotta get this one. You gotta get this one. Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah, I did yourself, Bert.
Well, I got some pictures. We're going to get Martin Peggy to come over here.
Looks really nice.